This one's about the next election, right? This is
What's shaking, guys? It's Feldy bringing you another MTG Obsession video. We've got the one, the only Mattcaster Mage in the house with a computer. Holy smokes. So, okay, I gotta know, like, what was that gut feeling when it was like, cannot find files, or whatever the error message was?
Oh, yeah, I guess I can kind of go through that. Man. So the laptop it's been having issues for like years, to be honest, like last 2 years. But one of those things where something's, it needs to be replaced, or it needs to be fixed, but you just keep putting it off because you think that it's gonna be a bigger headache anyways, just to get something new and then set it all up. So I kept kind of going through that because there'd be little minor issues. Like one thing that happened before was the latch got caught when I was trying to like close it one time. So then I had to bring it to a repair shop just to get the whole outside of the screen fixed.
Oh my God.
So that was one issue. And then another thing that happened was, I don't know if it was a motherboard issue, but I kept getting a black screen and I couldn't see anything. It was like the monitor and the actual motherboard were completely disconnected. And turns out it wasn't a motherboard issue. I don't know what the exact issue was, but that got fixed. So that was like, this is all within like 12 months.
That's probably the time I would have been like, I'm investing in a new machine.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing is, because I do daily videos, the turnaround time is so quick.
Yeah. That, no, I get it. I mean, yeah.
So I was like, God, I'm going to have to figure out a way to use this thing until it's basically dead and I can transfer something over to another computer. And what happened the third time, which is basically what broke the camel's back, and I just said, forget it. I'm going to like swallow my pride and just get the new computer now, which is a desktop. And it's odd getting used to a desktop because I haven't used one since basically I was a teenager torrenting video games and stuff. But it was a long time ago. It was a long time ago. I was basically been using MacBooks and then gaming laptops ever since then. But the real issue that brought me to that conclusion was, so randomly one day, everything was just really slow and like slower than normal. And I had Google Chrome open, and I know Google Chrome, it takes up a lot of space, a lot of memory. So it wouldn't let me actually access anything in my Premiere Pro. So I was waiting, I was giving it some time, like everything was kind of like blending together. It's like if I opened one page, it would blend with another page. And it was like really weird.
Yeah.
Everything was like overlapping and I couldn't like actually access anything. I click on a window or a tab and it would like have trouble even getting to that tab. It would just blend it together. Yeah. And then the whole background went white. So it was like everything that I saw, there's like it was basically being like plastered on a white background with the opacity limit at like 90%.
And of course they have to put in the obligatory old movie quote from some sci-fi movies like, the system is down, the system is down, the system is down, the system is down, the system is down.
So I tried to do Control-Alt-Delete, and that literally didn't even bring up the taskbar, which was that was alarming. So I just kind of sat there, waited for a bit. And I was like, you know what? I've done it before. It was never really an issue. I'll just hold the power bar and then let it restart that way. So I do that, and then I try to turn it back on, and then and then like it took like a long time to start, and I was like, whatever, it is what it is. But then when I actually accessed my actual home screen, my login, everything that I had on my desktop, which I didn't have much, it wasn't like the whole thing was filled, was basically just one line, which is like all the stuff that if you got a new computer, it'd be like the most basic stuff that you got. And it's like, whoa, where the hell's my files?
Almost like safe mode in a sense.
It was kind of like safe mode. When I brought it to the tech, they said it was pretty much, it basically saved all my files on like a secluded drive. Okay. It's just like a backup drive, and then I had to access it through I had to get permissions from the computer to be like, yeah, do you want to like claim these files? And I was like, yeah. And it took like hours and hours to claim it. And then what happened was I got a solid state drive, and so we transferred all the files over to that, and then put it back in the laptop. And then there's like a section which is like old computer and then new computer. So if you go into the laptop now, it'll be like Matthew 2.0, and then it has no files at all. That like literally, if I wanted the files, I'd have to re-download everything or just transfer them over, which would take a long time.
Yeah.
So and I was like, yeah, well, Now I have the desktop, and it's a lot better now. It took a while to get used to. So what happened when I got the laptop back, I had to still get files from there to put it onto the laptop and then transfer those files onto the desktop.
Well,
so there was still a process there where I still had to use the laptop.
Yeah.
So thankfully it didn't completely crash, because I still needed, thank God, to be able to use the laptop to some capacity.
Right.
So yeah.
Now, do you
I don't
have
know what I'm gonna
double
do with it
screens
now.
or no? Or
For the desktop?
yeah, for your
No,
desktop.
it's just one big monitor.
Just one giant monitor. That's how
Yeah,
I
just
have.
one
Well, I
giant
have the
monitor.
iMac.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I mean,
well,
like,
by giant, I mean it's like 27 inches, which is,
yeah.
if you're used to using a laptop, that's giant.
It
That's
is
huge.
giant.
Like,
I mean,
yeah,
that's
I got so used to using a laptop that anything over like the 17-inch
you're like,
window that I have is huge. Yeah,
yeah,
it's ungodly. It's like I'm at an IMAX screening right now every time I'm
exactly.
editing a video.
That's awesome. All right, so new computers all set. I mean, it's been. I mean, there's some crazy stuff that's happened since we talked last. I mean, your channel's been blowing up. You have. I didn't even know the last time that we talked that you had a food channel. I don't think.
Yeah, that was one of the first channels I did on YouTube, was a food channel, and that pretty much got crushed after the pandemic started. That was
Yeah.
like my main channel. I actually made the Magic channel around the same time as that food channel, which is called Matt's Megabytes.
Yeah.
And what happened after the pandemic was all the restaurants were closed. You couldn't go to restaurants, and the whole channel was showcasing restaurants in my city. So when I couldn't do that, I started a series called Quarantine Eats, where like I would be basically in a hazmat suit eating like Uber Eats meals and like reviewing them. And I thought it was kind of funny.
It is
But
awesome.
again, it was like no traction from YouTube. It's almost like YouTube's like, you're a travel channel.
Yeah.
I'm like, no,
Yeah.
it's like, you're not allowed to travel now. It's like, no, I'm not a travel channel. It's a personal, it's like a vlogs. It's a
Yeah.
personal channel. And like they just kept like labeling it as like a travel channel, because a lot of my videos I'll do the geo tag for Toronto. And that, I guess that made Google's algorithm think it was a travel channel. I mean, I didn't really travel much, and maybe I went to one or two other places outside of my city for that channel. So that sucked.
Interesting.
Yeah, so that channel kind of fell by the wayside. I still upload content on there occasionally, so if anyone does want to check it out, it's called Matt's Megabytes.
We'll link it below.
Yeah, Feldy will link it below.
Yeah.
But so that was the channel that kind of was my main focus, and then because of the pandemic and everything, I just kind of reverted back to doing more Magic content, and then I just kind of stuck with it. And then I tried series after series to see what would get into the algorithm. And then eventually the Market Movers is like the one series that finally YouTube was like, okay, here you go. Here's some guys, check this out.
Yeah.
Versus I was doing like a throwback booster pack Thursday series where I just open up any sort of booster pack that was outside of standard. And I would just try to like a recurring, weekly thing, but that didn't really work out.
YouTube hates pack openings. And that's where like I've just kind of pivoted my channel. I mean, I was telling you this before we started recording for the channel is by the time this launches, everybody will have seen Redbeard's video for community quips. But I just interviewed Redbeard, and he and I were talking about the whole process of making and like YouTube and like how people want to get into it, and then they just start opening packs. And like, I mean, I fell into the whole thing too, and I was like, this is just not gaining anything. Like, I mean, I'm better off like literally just like smashing food on the counter and filming it and getting more views, than having Magic packs open that you're spending money on. It's like,
yeah, I think like Magic packs is like there has to be something else besides just opening a pack now. It's like you have to have some sort of name or a drawing title or draw attention with a thumbnail. But yeah, just opening a few packs.
No, it's never going to get any traction. Yeah. I mean, even if you look at like the Joey Mosses that are breaking like insane vintage packs that are like, $13,000 boxes.
Yeah.
I mean, they get views, but like, it's not like amazing.
For what his subscribers, like with what it should be based on the amount of subscribers is very small. Yeah.
Correct. It's a very small portion, but oh well. And now you have this amazing Matt Cart shopping experience with your wife.
Yeah, I don't think I guess I didn't have it released before.
Yeah, I think you had like one episode and we had talked about it.
Yeah.
And it was like kind of you're trying out some stuff, and I was like, I like it. I want your wife to be more involved. And you're like, why do you say that?
Yeah, she's definitely getting more involved now, even with the eBay store that we have set up. She's like, she's taking care of most of that. Like, so whenever we go
Okay.
out and we source things for the eBay page through the YouTube channel, I'll be like the main hunter, but she helps me as well. Like, she'll help me identify things that are worth value that we could like flip on eBay.
Yeah.
And then when we go back, like, she basically takes all the photos and lists the stuff. So,
That's
and
awesome.
then
And they're
like
all
we
right
both
behind
go
you.
to the, yeah, well, there's a lot of stuff all around the room. That back wall over there on that side, that's my stuff. Everything on this side here, for the most part, is stuff that we've sourced on the Matt Cart's channel.
Okay.
So it's pretty good.
Nice.
Some of the stuff was surprising. Like,
if you haven't
video
checked it
games is
out,
really good.
yeah, I was
if you
gonna say you
wanna
guys got to
it
go
out.
check it out because it's like it's crazy what you'll find randomly that you wouldn't think is value, and it's like insane value.
Yeah, and because of like phones, I'm telling you, like, you can just take a image through Google Lens, and then you can see what that is, and you go to shopping, filter it, and then it'll directly link you to eBay, and you can see sold listings.
It's just
If
crazy.
something's got a barcode, you can scan the barcode with the eBay app, and then it'll like essentially just bring up all the listings that use that barcode. It's crazy. It's sometimes you'll have to actually enter in what it is.
Yeah.
Because when someone's filling out the information, they didn't put the barcode in, the UPC code or whatever.
Right.
But man, it's a trip. The channel's, it's not really taking off, but it's doing good. It's doing steady. But a lot of the subscribers and views that I have been getting on the channel have been like filtered through my Magic the Gathering channel.
Yeah.
But it's still good. Like, I'm still happy with it. I'm just hoping one day YouTube finally is like, here it is. Because I'll compare it to other channels, not to like get a big head or anything, but I'll compare it to other like thrift store channels, like reselling channels around the same subscriber level that I'm at. And I'm like, well, like, come on, like, if they're gonna get pushed by YouTube, like at some point my channel eventually has to get pushed by YouTube, but who knows? Maybe it'll never will. I've told myself, regardless of whatever happens to it, I'm still finding stuff at thrift stores and garage sales, and I'm reselling on eBay. So there's still some sort of revenue there anyways.
Yeah, I was gonna say you're still making
nice to
money.
The AdSense, but
yeah, exactly. My dad was like, why don't you start just like going to thrift stores and collecting stuff and just flipping it? And I was like, it's funny you say that because I know a guy who does that. He's like, oh, your brother's friend does it and makes $30,000 a month. And I'm like, yeah, but that's all he's doing. Like, he's running around the thrift stores and garage sales.
Like,
and and he's in the South. So he
it's easier there to source stuff. Yeah.
There's like tons of stuff because the weather's nice. So there's garage sales every weekend. So he's doing that. And then on the weekdays, he just goes to all the flea markets and, whatever. And it is.
Yeah.
I mean, hey, it's a great living.
It's a great way to, work for yourself. Like, and I mean that sincerely because, I'm in Toronto and I really wish I lived in a place where garage sales were every weekend, because I pretty much, even now it's a little too cold in Toronto. We're doing this episode today. It's April 14th.
Right.
And even now in Toronto, there isn't any garage sales when I try to search for them on like Craigslist or Kijiji or Facebook Marketplace. There's nothing. Every time I search for garage sales, it'd be like, garage doors for sale. Like, no, that's not it. I don't want garage doors. I want garage sales.
Right.
So, yeah. So usually at the beginning of May.
Yeah.
Usually the beginning of May is where we'll get something in Toronto, and then it goes all the way to like the first weekend of October. Like by Halloween, there's nothing. Like you're not getting any. So we don't have a very big window. We have like 4.5 months. Yeah, we got 4.5 months, maybe 5 months if you stretch it for garage sales, and that's it.
And you're hoping to find something golden.
Something that's we've done some pretty good. We've had some pretty good scores, I should say, at thrift stores, pawn shops, and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But all of our biggest ones on the channel were fairly early on, like the first, within the first 10 videos, which is where we're going to lots of garage sales. That's where you've made like the biggest scores.
Yeah.
So like, I want to get back to them, hoping in 2 weeks that I can get back to that.
Well, and like, I remember watching some of them and they were like, you're like, this is $200. And she's like, $5. And you're like, I guess I can do $5.
Yeah.
Like,
whatever. The Lego bit. Okay, that was an episode where you might be referencing another one, but I think it was the second video on the channel, and this is before and this is what took me down this path of realizing the value of Lego. I had no freaking idea, and then I went to one garage sale and it had like some kids' toys, some bikes, and then it had a big blue bin full of Lego. And I noticed there's some Star Wars stuff in there. I didn't really know much about
Yeah, yeah.
Lego as like a secondary market. Like I knew like probably sealed would be worth something. I knew
Yeah.
that, but these are all loose. I had no idea there's like a market for that because I was like, how are you going to figure out which pieces go what? It's chaos.
Right. It really is.
So
Yeah.
we picked up the bucket and I asked her like how much, and she's I think she said there's like 10 pounds there, but I thought I heard her say $10. So I just said $10, and she's like, yeah, okay, sure. And then like after I think we took out we
That's
basically
awesome.
poured the bin on the ground, and then we
Oh
took out
my
all the
God.
minifigures and we sold like all the minifigures that we found there for like
Yeah.
$150 or
That's
something like that, and we bought it for $10.
insane.
And then the rest of the bulk we sold for like $50, which you probably could have sold it for more than that. Now, knowing like with the knowledge that I have about Lego, now I probably would have been able to stretch that that $10 purchase into maybe like $350.
Yeah,
So like
yeah.
this is what like people need to like really go to garage sales, go to thrift stores, flea markets, pawn shops if you can. Pawn shops I haven't had as good luck, but definitely thrift stores and garage sales if you're looking for extra income, because you can even sell things locally. You don't have to always set up an eBay store. I just find doing an eBay store, it just works for the channel, but also, keeps me busy.
Yeah, I was gonna say like the pawn shops that I've been to, I mean, I live in Wisconsin, so it's like a little chintzy. Like a lot of it's like, here's my gun, and that's about like all they have there because it's like, that's all. I mean, or like really like crappy furniture, like really
Oh yeah,
crappy
you
furniture.
can't sell that on eBay. For
No.
me, I'll look there right away. I'm like, I can try to sell it locally if I had a pickup truck, but it's not gonna
Yeah, my buddy, he sells furniture for a living, and he's like, I mean, I have to advertise local because I cannot ship this. Like, people will not pay the shipping costs. I'm like, well,
yeah,
duh,
yeah.
I mean, like, it's crazy. So, what else is shaking in your world? You went on vacation.
Yeah, I went to Brazil. Went to 3 different places in Brazil: Florianopolis, Porto Alegre, and I went to Sao Paulo. Yeah, it was
For
it
the
was crazy.
carnival?
It it was during Carnival, but they weren't
Okay.
really doing much because it's like still getting over COVID,
Yeah,
and they had it pretty rough. I think the first wave there. But
yeah.
it was crazy. It was the first time I've ever been back from a vacation to Toronto from like a tropical place during the winter. So it was a trip going there, and it was freezing when we left, and then freezing when we came back. And every day it was basically sunny there every day. I think we had maybe 2 or 3 days where it was kind of overcast, but even then it would kind of come in and out. And then I come back to Toronto, and we've been back so far about a month, a little over a month, and I swear we've only had 5 sunny days the entire time.
Yeah.
It's been overcast, it's been like raining, it's been snowing, and it was one of those moments where I was like, why the hell are people living in Canada? Like, it doesn't
That's
make any
just
sense.
it.
The housing prices here are worse than like pretty much anywhere in the world. Like, why? Like, it's crazy. Like, I don't understand why Canada. Like, I get safety is really the only selling point Canada has at this point, is just keep telling people it's safe to be here, and that's why the houses are $1.5 million in a place where there's only 4 McDonald's. It's like,
Yikes.
I saw this one post where Aurelia is this place where there's like a casino and 4 Tim Hortons, which if you don't know what that is, that's basically a Dunkin' Donuts if you're American.
And
And the
it's
housing
actually
prices
worse
there,
than
the same
Dunkin'
price as
Donuts.
LA. Yeah, it's like, what do you got? You got LA, the home of showbiz and Hollywood and everything. And then you got Aurelia. We got 4 Tim Hortons in a casino, same house
Oh my
prices.
God.
It doesn't
That's
make any sense.
insane.
Yeah,
Now I know
I don't
like
understand how bad it's so bad. I've complained to so many Americans about how bad Canada is for housing. Especially, I'm at that age now where like we're thinking about buying a house, maybe starting a family in the next 2 or 3 years,
yeah,
and I'm just like, this is so corrupt here. I
major
didn't realize how
yeah,
bad it is.
major
Yeah.
major life decision. And you're like, I mean, you're in Toronto, so it's more east central like
Oh,
area
Toronto's,
versus
yeah, it's like the second worst for housing prices in Canada, but
yeah, but like you go to Vancouver, I mean, and those prices are even worse.
it's
Like, I
even worse.
mean,
Yeah.
like I quote people for insurance all the time in Washington, right near Vancouver, and I mean, astronomical prices, like insane. And I'm like, why are you living there? Like, there's rain and like, I mean, there's culture, but yeah, it's like, it's just insane the price points that people pay for their homes.
But
And I'm
people
like,
will pay for like, a little bit of entertainment, I
I
guess. I don't
know,
know. And
it's
but like
crazy.
and that's the thing is like, yeah, you get more of a nightlife here if you go out, you know. But then again, you need that extra money to go out, and where if it's going all into rent or a mortgage, you know,
Right.
you don't really have much wiggle room there. So
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just one of those frustrating things. We're debating moving to Calgary. We've been already looking at homes there, and it's just like for what we can afford there versus like for what we can afford in Ontario. Like to be honest, I don't even think we can get like some condos in Ontario, but it's like no,
Yeah.
I'd rather just live in a
Would
place
you
where I actually have a decent house, like
would you
Calgary.
come to the US or like go to Brazil?
I would
Like,
have to get a visa, but if Brazil, like she wouldn't mind living there a few months a year. She doesn't want to live there full time though.
mm,
But I would totally move to the US if I could get a visa. I would move to the US in a second.
okay.
Yeah,
So you could get a work visa though, right? They just have to sponsor it.
yeah. But again, I'd have to get a job in the States for
Yeah,
them
yeah,
to sponsor the visa.
yeah,
So
yeah.
I mean, like I could technically, but
All right, we'll talk
I don't know.
offline.
Yeah. You like selling insurance, Matt? Yeah.
Not even selling insurance. I just have some tricks up my sleeve.
Well, I mean, Will Smith's slap at the Oscars.
Oh, dude. Okay.
That was a crazy moment. I mean,
Okay.
that's probably by the time this episode airs, I mean, I'm sure that would have been long gone news.
And it's
Very
not
old news,
long
but
gone news, but I mean, it's pretty crazy. Like, I mean, when I was literally watching it live, and I'm like, that was an act. That had to be an act. Will Smith doesn't
you
do
were one
that.
of the 10 people that watched it live?
So it was on our TV, like it's like right over yonder, like somewhere over here, and
Okay.
and I'm like, I was watching something on my Mac here, and I like look up and I like look over and I see Will Smith get up and he just like goes, you know, like the famous meme
Yeah.
now, and I was like, I think he was just pretending to slap Chris Rock, and then I was like, then Chris Rock's reaction, I was like, wait, Chris Rock really got slapped. I was like, he
Yeah.
wasn't playing, and then my partner, he's like, that's an act. I'm like, I really don't think it was. Like, I
No,
was
not
so
when he
confused.
starts losing it. That's when you start. Everyone, even probably who were watching at the Oscars, were kind of thinking the same thing. Was this an act? And then
Yeah,
once he like has an emotional like breakdown, you're just like, whoa, dude, he just slapped that guy in the face, and now he's like, because it's like someone when they're at that, and I think everyone's probably experienced it a few times in their life where like they're at a moment where there can be some massive outbursts of either anger, violence, or emotions, and you
yeah,
kind of you literally press that down, in a way, like
yeah.
you repress all those
Suppress it,
feelings.
yeah,
But it was like someone who had a breakdown. He just let it all out, and you're just like
yeah.
watching it, like, wow, I
Dude, it was
can't
like
believe that
shaking a
just
Coke
happened.
can, and like it just
Yeah,
fucking pops
yeah.
off,
It's
and
like
it's like
you just
crazy.
let it, like the worst moment at the Oscars where you're probably going to win an Academy Award. It's just unbelievable.
And then his fake ass speech, I
Yeah,
was like watching that, and I'm like, what is he even going? And then he starts crying, and I'm like,
yeah,
this guy has lost his
yeah. That's what I'm saying.
brain.
He's well, yeah.
Yeah,
He's
and
had, yeah. It's a lot of good actors. There's something off,
yeah,
I find, and like it's, maybe it's the same situation with him because he is a good actor. I've liked a lot of his work, but you could tell sometimes it's the best actors are the ones that have the most demons.
well, like the thing that just kept popping in my head that I told all my friends, and I was like, I just keep thinking the Eminem song where it's like, Will Smith doesn't have to cuss in his records, but I do. So you and fucking too.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, because Eminem's real. Like
Mhm.
Will Smith is a little fake in that sense, but
Yeah, he's fake. Yeah.
you know what I
Well,
mean?
he's an
Like,
actor. You got to be fake if you're an
yeah.
actor. That's part of the job.
Well, like the thing too, I think about too. I'm like, he had all these crazy like Will Smith does all the parachuting and like Will Smith's adventures or
The
whatever, like
YouTube
whatever.
videos.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm like how staged was all that? Or was that just to get out of the house? Cause he has this like toxic relationship that he's in with his wife. And then it was just like, I mean, it was just dude,
Yeah.
mental breakdowns are real. And if you need help, I mean, you gotta go get some help, man. Like it's real.
Well, that's what that's why I'm on here. Help! What do I have to do?
My hourly rate is $400 an hour. So
Okay. Wait, but do you take Dogecoin? That's what I
I
need to figure out.
I
Now.
do.
You do. Okay,
As long
perfect.
as Elon Musk secures
Doesn't dump it.
Twitter,
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah.
Talk about the craziness
Crazy.
in the world, man. It's like literal bananas in the world right now. I mean, it really
Yeah.
is. Like,
Yeah.
you got Will Smith, you got the craziness going on. Like, I mean, I'm sure you probably saw the news in New York, like another like subway shooter
Subway
like
shooting.
thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just like people are crazy.
Ukraine.
Yeah,
That's
Ukraine.
everything. It's like, and I think that's actually one of the reasons why COVID's not talked about that much anymore, is
Yeah.
because like I feel like if all the other stuff wasn't happening, that'd be the number one thing in the news all the time. Is be COVID.
And people are just so burned out on it.
Yeah, people are burned out, and then now it's
Yeah.
just all this other stuff's happening. You got that Oscar moment, the Ukraine, the subway shootings, everything. It's just in
Yeah.
chaos right now.
It is. It's nuts. Do you guys get like a ton of US news in Canada? Because we get like no Canadian news whatsoever. It's just like world news and like a brief, and like it, but otherwise it's like super hyper
Well,
local.
do we
here.
get American? The thing is, I don't watch like TV. I just watch YouTube.
Oh, okay.
Like I literally I am what I eat.
Yeah.
Like I literally just watch YouTube. That's where I get all my information. And if YouTube's listening to this right now, you know, that's maybe that's why they promote my
I was gonna say they're
old in the
spying on
algorithm,
you.
because I'm just watching it all the time. They're like,
Yeah,
this guy
yeah.
watches it a lot, so let's just push his videos out because he watches it a ton.
Probably.
But,
I mean,
yeah.
probably.
I mean, I watch
smart.
Netflix, but that's not really news, right?
Okay.
I mean,
do you do
the
Apple
news
TV
feed,
or anything?
No,
No, just Netflix.
No, I have Crave. I got Crave TV, Netflix, Disney Plus.
Everybody's got
Amazon
Disney Plus.
Prime. Yeah, I got Amazon Prime.
Okay.
And that's basically it. And then YouTube.
Okay.
And then
so
DAZN, which is, I don't know if it's in America.
I don't
Well,
think
it's
so.
a streaming platform for sports. So like you got football, like NFL, you got Premier League, and I think those are the two. And then there's some other events here and there, but for the most part, it's like soccer and football.
I was gonna say it's probably not here in the States because like DirecTV has like the monopoly on NFL tickets.
Not in Canada, it's DAZN.
Yeah.
So we get, but it's basically just it used to cover more. Like used to have hockey in there. I think it might have even had basketball at one point. Now it's literally just NFL and soccer, which is fine. Like that's usually those are like the toughest to watch if you're a Canadian, anyways. Like there's other ways to watch hockey. You know, there's other stations you can watch, but NFL and soccer is a little different.
Yeah, I was gonna say like it's totally dominated by like the networks here and then DirecTV. But the reason I asked is Apple TV Plus or whatever has a show called Severance, and it's directed by Ben Stiller.
Mm-hmm.
And what's this? Michael Scott, isn't it? Dude, it is insanity. Like insanity. Like at first I was like, okay, it sounds intriguing. I'm gonna watch the first episode and I'll either like not watch it or watch the entire thing because I'll be hooked. And after the first episode, I was like, what the hell did I just watch? I have to watch more.
Everyone who's seen it, everyone who's seen it has told me to watch it. And it's the thing is I don't have Apple TV, so I'd have to find good like streams or something. Or maybe I'll just get Apple TV, who knows. But I definitely want to see that. Definitely want to see it.
Yeah, it is one of the shows and then there's a new one that also came out and I was like, okay, I gotta like, because I don't ever watch TV. So like the only things I watch are sports and it's usually like, live, like the baseball game's on right now. So it's like, okay, great. Like I'll go in there when we're done and watch the game and hoorah, but that's it. Like otherwise, like Severance was the only show that I've watched in like the last like 2 years besides, well, I guess Mandalorian and Disney Plus kind of shows,
Yeah. And I watched like 3 episodes of Mandalorian. I know the Boba Fett show's out now.
You didn't watch that?
I haven't gotten, it's hard for me to get into it.
Are you kidding?
Well, I'll have to confess something. My wife hates Star Wars.
Okay.
Hates it. Like absolutely hates it. And you know what? I'm like, okay. Like I like Star Wars, but I was like, you know what? Fine, I'll let you have that. Because at first she didn't want to see Lord of the Rings. And then I was like, no. We're watching Lord of the Rings.
Confession.
And then
never
we
watched Lord of the Rings.
It's better than Star Wars, man. You guys.
I've never watched Harry Potter.
Better.
Or Lord of the Rings.
Harry Potter's okay. It's good. But Lord of the Rings, like she watched Lord of the Rings and now it's like one of her favorite like trilogies.
Okay.
So
I might have to give it a whirl.
You gotta watch Lord of the Rings. Hey, there's a magic set coming out. That's Lord of the Rings. What the heck, man?
I
You gotta
know.
watch Lord of the Rings.
I know. I mean,
As a content creator for Magic, you gotta watch Lord of the Rings.
I just,
You
I
have to.
never got into it. Like, it just never appealed to me for some reason.
Mm.
Which is
Well.
weird, right? Because like you would think like fantasy would be like
Yeah.
appealing, but yeah.
Oh, I'm telling you, like, you have to watch it. I'm not just saying that to like bust your balls.
No,
But it's honestly,
It's good, yeah.
It's really, really good.
yeah. I mean,
Like,
I've heard that they're really well done. I've seen bits and pieces there, and like I know like the subplots basically,
Mhm.
and yeah, but I just never dove in.
Just don't
you know?
watch The Hobbit.
Okay.
Just read the book. Read the Hobbit book. You don't
Yeah,
have
yeah.
to watch like 10 hours of film for like the smallest book of the entire, J.R.R. Tolkien library. Right?
Yeah. You
Just
know
just
her
read the book for
story?
that. There's there's the simulacrum or similarian, I think. Yeah, and then there's like the Hobbit, and then it's like Fellowship of the Ring, Two Towers, and Return of the King.
No, but
You
like
don't really
do you know J.R. Tolkien's
J.R.R.
Yeah.
Tolkien's?
Yeah, her story of like Lord of the Rings, like
No, that's
when she
a
wrote
guy.
it.
No, that's a
Oh,
guy. J.R.R.
wait,
Tolkien.
no,
You're
I'm
thinking
talking.
J.K.
Oh yeah,
Rowling.
yeah,
you're thinking
J.K.
J.K.
Rowling.
Rowling.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
God, I got it all
yeah.
mixed up in my
We're
brain.
not talking
It's
about
fine.
her
I
story. We're
know,
talking
I know.
about his story.
His story. Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so her story with Harry Potter is insane. I forget what the Lord of the Rings, dude. I'll have to look it back up, but like I know that she got like turned down like 300 times. It was
Wow.
bananas, like what she went through to get Harry Potter like
Published.
Yeah. And she's like, no, I believe in this so much that I'm gonna keep like going. And I was like,
Oh,
damn,
it's a
girl, you
massive
go.
franchise now. Yeah.
Dude, can you
mean,
imagine being one of the executives turning that down and knowing that in the back of your brain? Like, I turned down Harry Potter.
Yeah, it could have made the company. Yeah.
Dude, like there's
Yeah.
a fucking theme park based on it
Yeah.
now. Like, I mean, okay, like that's an insane franchise. Okay, sorry, I deviated from Lord of the Rings and Harry Potter, and I haven't watched either, but I do know her story,
Yeah.
not his.
Well, I'll recommend both Harry Potter, I guess, as well. But like for sure, Lord of the Rings. It's like the absolute must watch.
Okay.
Yeah, like that was where like when I was, because I'm really into film. Like I studied film.
Yeah.
And when it comes to Lord of the Rings, Star Wars, Harry Potter, like Lord of the Rings is the one I'd recommend the most. But she hasn't seen any of them. She hasn't seen Harry Potter either. So I was like, okay, we got to, because I need you to at least like one of these things, because it's very important for you to like stuff that I like.
Yeah.
You have to. I'm the type of person I need. Doesn't mean they have to like everything that I like, but they have to like a few things that I like. Because then like you have a shared kind of bond.
Yeah, exactly.
So, and I knew she would like Lord of the Rings. Like Star Wars, I tried to get her to watch A New Hope, which I think is the best out of the entire Star Wars show. And that's the first one from 1977. She couldn't say, it was like so boring for her. And the thing is, watching it again from like her perspective, I was like, yeah, it kind of is boring. Because like the amount of times it would just be like that screen wipe across, like the editing techniques and everything they seemed very old and outdated.
It's very old, yeah.
And like I was still enjoying it, but I was like, yeah, you're right. Shit. I was like, you're right. It is kind of boring. Now I understand why you can't watch it. She's tried to watch it before and she couldn't get through it.
Our kids will do like little movie marathons where they'll like watch the entire thing like in chronological order, and then they'll like go back and watch like, the entire Marvel series, from like the starting point to ending point. And it's like, I mean, my brain just hurts watching movies. Like I can't sit down and watch movies for that long.
Yeah. Like, I can't do like I used to be able to do marathons, and I love film. Now I can only do like a movie a day at the very most. And even then, like I'm not wasting my life watching a movie a day.
Yeah.
Unless I really want to see a movie. Like I saw the new Batman movie in theaters.
That was good. It was a little too long.
A month ago. Mm-hmm.
A little too long. They could have sped through some of it, but it was good.
Yeah.
Okay. So, ironically enough, I ended up having computer issues, and my entire last half of this interview basically cuts out right here. So you guys are just going to have to stay tuned to part 3 for Mattcaster Mage's community quips, because we asked some really fun questions at the very end, and I'm not going to give any spoilers because we'll be back for part 3 Stay tuned. Thanks so much for watching, and always the support and love in the community is awesome. All right, I don't know what else to say other than Feldy.
Thank you for coming to our show, and good night.